Get Brandon. Yeah, Brandon's never been filmed.
Her bright smile could light up the skies of the Pacific Northwest.
I honestly think that she just was born with that incredible spirit. I do.
It seemed everyone in the small Washington enclave of Everett was somehow touched by the magic of Rachel Berkheimer.
Are you gonna take a picture?
I want to know from Mama Bear, tell me about your daughter.
She's just so precious, such a special person, always bubbly and happy.
I was the rebel rouser, and she was the good girl.
I read that she was very athletic, that at 6 years old she could outshoot the boys in the basketball court.
She was like a little bullet, and everybody's going, who is that girl?
Rachel possessed a captivating sense of humor.
Is it on?
She very well could have been on stage or had a great career in that regard.
She always had big dreams, and she wanted to be a veterinarian. She loved animals. She wanted to be an actress.
So many of her friends called the Berkheimer house looking for Rachel. Her father, Bill, referred to himself as Rachel's personal answering machine. But soon, the phone would ring fewer times in the Berkheimer home. Stunningly, while still a student in high school, Rachel would become devastated by the loss of 6 of her good friends, each of them victims of unfathomable tragedy, from suicide to drowning to accidental shooting.
She wasn't her happy, bubbly self, and she was suffering tremendously from grief.
One of those losses would crush her beyond words. Her closest friend, Corey Haynes, died in a horrific car crash.
They were the classic soulmates. It was a brother-sister relationship. He was an amazing young man.
The flame of happiness that once burned so brightly in Rachel's life was now snuffed out.
It was truly like a transformation that was happening before our eyes. It was, the Rachel that I knew was very much changing in her priorities and in her level of joy that really marked her character and who she was.
This beautiful young woman, once so full of ambition she posted her weekly goals on a bedroom mirror, had shut down, closed herself off from her family.
Did you feel helpless?
I did, because, I would try to talk to her and try to connect with her and sympathize with her and advise her, as we do as sisters. And I felt unsuccessful.
Rachel now navigated through life in a haze of despair. She left school, began dabbling in drugs, and found herself immersed in a circle of troublemaking new friends. One in particular would profoundly impact her life.
What did she tell you about Jan Anderson when she met him?
She didn't tell me anything about John Anderson. I found out about John Anderson pretty much the hard way.
John Anderson, say local police, was a small-time criminal in and out of jail and part of a ragtag street gang.
It was a real stupid name. They called themselves the Northwest Mafia. They'd steal drugs, they'd sell some of them and use most of it. They had no other ambition in life. They sat around, played video games and smoked dope, did cocaine and meth and partied.
Bill Berkheimer would discover Anderson's presence in his daughter's life through phone calls to Rachel from prison.
I got a phone bill one day for $640. I look at this phone bill, I'm in shock. It says Correctional Facility, Shelton, Washington.
And from behind prison walls, John Anderson was penning hauntingly obsessive letters to Rachel.
I don't know any other way of showing you that you are so special. To me, I would murder 1,000,000 people if I had to, just to be with you.
Bill was shaken with worry and confronted his wayward daughter.
She kept talking about how she saw the good in him and he wasn't what people think he is.
You referred to John as being her bad boy, like every girl dates a bad boy, and that's how you...
That's what I thought. I thought, this is her bad boy.
He's in that case. Rachel likes normally he.
If loving Rachel saw the good in everything, including John Anderson, she'd soon be shaken into brutal reality. Police say Anderson was dangerously jealous and possessive. Reportedly so jealous, he sniffed Rachel's clothing and hair for the scent of other men. Her sister Megan saw bruises on Rachel and suspected Anderson had beaten her.
I was like just shaking her and yelling at her, saying, Rachel, what are you doing? Look at yourself.
As friends would describe it, Rachel found herself trapped on a love-hate roller coaster with Anderson. Each day a tumultuous ride from tenderness to torment, and back again. She had finally had enough.
She sat on the end of my bed and she was talking to me until 2 a.m. about her fears, about her concerns, about John Anderson and the different threats that he had been giving her.
Much to the joy of the Berkheimer family, Rachel reclaimed her senses. She cut it off with Anderson and reestablished family ties.
The two of you started to spend time together, going to church.
Yes.
Things were changing for her?
Mm-hmm. She seemed to be more normal, and she'd come over and visit me and call. And we just had a regular relationship again, and it was nice and close.
She once again became trusted Auntie Rachel to big sister Megan's child. And she made a new friend with whom she forged a seemingly unbreakable pact.
One morning, a beautiful sunny morning, she's sitting on our porch and she has this radiance again that I've not seen for a few months. And she looked up and said, I have met an incredible friend. His name is Maurice.
His name, Maurice Rivas, also a member of John Anderson's hapless Northwest Mafia, looking to better his life.
Maurice Rivas was 18 years old. He also grew up in a troubled home. I think his closest relative was a grandmother. He was in the foster kid system for several years.
But Maurice and Rachel had bonded in their desire to escape the empty, aimless lives of the gang.
She said, we've decided we're going to go back to school. We're going to go graduate. We're going to walk with our class, and we're going to do it right.
Coming up, on the path to healing, Rachel Berkheimer takes a tragic wrong turn.
She said, I know they're going to kill me, but please don't let them drown me.